A tiny private company in PA has recently developed an innovation so miraculous it will make ChatGPT look like yesterday's news. This new technology allows you to write and send an email, compose a document, set up a spreadsheet and control the entirety of Microsoft 365 without ever touching a mouse, a keyboard, or screen. In fact, it'll work with most software and operating systems. The mouse, touchpad, and keyboard have dominated how we use computers and other devices for decades. But this is a whole new way to control our digital worlds. Yes, the word revolutionary gets thrown around a lot, but there is nothing more revolutionary than this, and it will soon be part of everyone's day-to-day lives, especially all 1.4 billion people around the world that are using Microsoft Office. Just imagine typing an email or writing a document or doing anything with your devices, completely hands-free. It will completely revolutionize the way every human on the planet interacts with their devices, computers, smartphones, you name it. This astounding technology will allow you to use imperceptible head or facial movements, even the blink of an eye, to control practically every device known to man. In your home, for instance, it can boot up and operate your laptop without a mouse, a keyboard, or even a screen, turn on your TV and change the channel without a remote, light up your entire house without touching a single light switch, dispense water from your refrigerator or run your dishwasher without the use of hands, voice controls, or buttons. We're talking about highly intuitive technology that's going to reshape the way the world works for everyone. You just blink your eye, clench your jaw a tiny bit, or nod your head slightly, and it controls and commands your day-to-day devices as if by magic. So what is the technology that's making all this possible? It's this tiny earbud that's not even close to your ordinary earbud. Yes, it can be used for everyday stuff like listening to your favorite music, taking a Zoom call with your coworkers or talking on the phone with friends, but those things are the very least it can do. It was brilliantly designed to effortlessly control any type of machine or device without touch. The potential uses are endless. Take the military. With these earbuds controlling high-tech gear, soldiers on dangerous assignments won't have their hands tied up on mission control devices. Same for CIA and intelligence operators out in the field. Remarkably, military personnel will even be able to fly high-powered drones with just slight movements of their head. It's incredible. That's one of the reasons members of NATO are highly interested in these earbuds right now. Yes, I said NATO, as in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, as in 30 countries around the world that spent over $1 trillion in 2022 alone. Make no mistake, a contract with any NATO country or NATO itself would be huge, potentially untold millions of dollars in revenue. Well, this tiny company is in talks with NATO agencies right now. A contract with one NATO country could easily lead to hundreds of government contracts, with hundreds of defense-related departments within 30 different governments around the world. The U.S. Department of Defense could be one of them. Heidi Shyu, who is the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering, said that finding a simpler human-machine interface is at the top of the list of the U.S. military's critical technology projects. That's the #1 person in the U.S. military for all things science, flat out saying that developing this kind of tech is her #1 priority. And the Department of Defense has $720 billion to spend this year. This technology breakthrough does exactly what Shyu is asking for, and it works today. So it's not a stretch to imagine they could get a $100 million contract, $200 million contract, or a $2 billion contract. Because that's the kind of money the government shells out when they want to solve a problem. That, of course, would be huge. Government spending is like rocket fuel for a small company, and that's just the military. Think about distribution and manufacturing. These types of operations pretty much all use robots now, but you can't just put a robot in a warehouse like you can on an assembly line. A human still has to direct that work. With these super powerful earbuds, one person could easily control dozens of robots. That means it could command robotic arms to build cars for the likes of Ford, GM, Toyota, Mercedes, Audi, you name it. It could command robots to load thousands of packages every hour for companies like Walmart, Amazon, Chewy, FedEx and others. In fact, Target has already announced that they're going to spend $5 billion this year on warehouse and supply chain automation. These earbuds will be used in every industry on Earth, from commercial air or train travel to gold and silver mining, oil exploration to manufacturing, you name it. The earbuds can be used to run robotic devices completely hands-free, everything free, like magic. In fact, this tiny company is in talks right now with a European firm connected to one of the world's largest telecommunication companies, an $18 billion giant in 5G, the cloud, and the Internet of Everything. Look at first responders. These earbuds will be a game changer for police and firefighters. What's the most important thing they teach these guys about going into a crime zone or a hazardous fire? Situational awareness. You've got to be zeroed in 100% on the task at hand, absolutely no distractions. They free first responders from getting bogged down with technical devices, giving them the ability to concentrate on their jobs, preventing injuries and even death. There's also touch-free payments, a $35 billion market. Driver and operational safety, a $13 billion market and growing. And video gaming is going to be massive. Did you know that more than 3 billion people worldwide play video games? It's huge, a $195 billion market. Fully expect every video gaming company on the planet, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, will go gaga over this tech. We're talking about contracts in the multiple millions of dollars. The reason is that it makes the gaming experience so unbelievably real. The earbuds work more magically in digital worlds created by augmented reality and virtual reality. It lets you roam free in these worlds, controlling digital devices completely hands-free. Imagine the impact this technology will bring to the millions of amputees and those severely paralyzed or quadriplegic. For them, this technology will be a godsend. A nearly telepathic way the disabled can get around their house, their neighborhood, their workplace without help from anyone. There are countless devices to control. With simple Bluetooth technology, these earbuds will allow you to control every one of them. Every one, from smart homes to robots to cars to dozens of wearables, of course, video games. There's an astounding 15.4 billion connected devices out there in the world today. It's an enormous market. In fact, the so-called Internet of Things is expected to grow to $2.46 trillion over the next few years. For example, look at Pax8, a private software company based in Denver, Colorado. They went into ready-to-market mode in 2012. At the time, the company was worth just $5 million. Today, it's worth $1.7 billion. That's nearly a 34,000% gain. Grafana Labs is another, it's up more than 114,000% since 2018. Newfront Insurance, more than 128,000% since 2017. Branch, a technology company in Palo Alto, was worth $1.58 million when it went into ready-to-market mode in May 2014. Now they're worth $4 billion. That's more than a 250,000% jump, all from one investment in just 8 years. You don't get returns like that without getting in early. This tiny earbud company is valued at about $100 million right now, and just one contract from any one of big tech companies they're talking to right now could send their valuation soaring. In fact, one of these big tech firms has a well-known strategy for partnering with, or in some cases, buying up, every tiny tech startup that fits into its universe. Over the last decade, they've partnered or scooped up over 100 small firms with breakthrough technologies, often spending a fortune on them. By now, you're probably asking yourself, how does this amazing technology work? How can a nod of your head or tiny facial movements magically control these devices? To answer that question, the company's genius co-founder and inventor behind this amazing technology, Dave, says that the earbuds are tracking micro-head movements. They have a very small gyroscope in there. They can tell if you're looking left, if you're looking to the right. So wherever you look, the object does. If you tilt your head back, it'll stop. And if you just nod your chin down slightly, it'll go forward. The newest version, which is even more advanced and shipping to the US right now for use by our partners, does even more. It uses highly advanced sensors to detect biosensor signals such as muscle signals in your head, face, and even air pressure changes within the ear, and it translates all of those into distinct commands. We even created what we call an invisible user interface that allows a user to not only execute commands but navigate an entire menu of commands without speaking, without touching anything, and even sometimes without even using a monitor. That's what allows you to control all the devices around you, from a television to a drone to AR, VR machines, even your desktop computer. We've not seen anything like this put into a form factor this small. It's breakthrough technologies that other companies have been trying to get to market. Our biggest competitor has created similar technology, but it requires implanting a chip in your head. And what many of these brain implant companies are trying to do is control computers and devices without speaking and without touching anything. Although we're taking a sensor fusion approach as opposed to a thought control approach, in the end, we're doing the same thing. Hands-free, voice-free command control and navigation of computers and all of your connected devices. If option 1 requires brain surgery, obviously, everyone's going to choose the earbuds. I mean, maybe it's me, but I would much rather wear smart earbuds than have a hole drilled into my brain when it comes to controlling a computer or a device. And we're doing much of the same thing, in a hands-free, voice-free, sometimes, even look-free manner, except we're doing it safely and non-invasively. And that's key, I think. And there's also another important factor, and that is that we're incorporating our human-machine interface into a wearable that has already won the wearable space, smart earbuds. You don't have to convince anybody to wear smart earbuds. Millions of people now, especially younger people, already have smart earbuds that look exactly like these in their ears literally all the time. So you don't have to train people to do anything new. You just have to get them to switch which buds they're using between their ears. It's a much easier sell. It's a much safer sell. Plus, although our business model will be more of a licensing model to existing firms, the cost will be relatively inexpensive, pretty much on par with what other high-end earbuds would cost per unit. Our earbud is protected by over 21 different international patents. Our patents are separated into two patent families. One would be our invisible user interface, and the earbud hardware itself. So everything, from earbuds to the software to the applications, they were all developed in-house by our team over the last few years, and we have a full patent protection over all of it. And this gives us a tremendous advantage because no one else in the world is really allowed to replicate our technology. The company's patent protection is a huge plus for any investor. Whenever it comes to a tiny tech company hitting the market with a breakthrough technology, patents can seal the deal. Why? Because owning patents on IP, intellectual property, on technology, means no one else can use it without, of course, paying a lot for it. And patents can be used to generate huge revenue through licensing agreements, which is exactly this company's plan. In other words, they aren't going to sell earbuds directly. It's licensing and royalty fees they're after. They'll give the rights to their technology to anyone who's willing to pay for it. And look who's knocking. The founders of this earbud company recently had very high-level talks with one of the biggest tech companies in the world. We're talking about 3 of their top C-suite engineers, and make no mistake, these guys want to get their hands on this earbud tech as soon as possible. Our friend Dave is in talks with this giant tech company, and it's just one of many conversations going on with potential customers. One of those companies revolves around the $1.2 trillion commercial trucking industry. Think about how many big rigs you see on the highway every day. There's actually 13 million trucks operating in the US. The average trucker drives over 600 miles per day. That's like driving from New York to Cincinnati every day. It's absurd. No wonder we see nearly 400,000 truck accidents every year in the US, and almost half ending in injury or death. Drivers are falling asleep, but this earbud can save lives. It can sense if a driver is awake or falling asleep. It basically acts as a driver alert. So we're talking about a huge breakthrough. The earbud can also control things like your seat, height, stereo settings and volume, your sunroof, all the basic amenities. Same with the accessibility program, which is centered on products, devices, services, and wheelchairs usable by people with disabilities. Speaking of wheelchairs, this earbud company is in high-level talks with one of the world's premier manufacturers of powered wheelchairs. These things are like robots on wheels. A company called Hopin is now one of the world's leading virtual event platforms. They came onto the scene in October of 2019. At the time, the entire company was worth $3.1 million. In February of 2020, they were worth $40 million. That's 12x growth in just 4 months. And they just kept going, from $40 million that February to $244 million in June. Then, that December, they were at $1.48 billion. That means they 12x'd, then they 6x'd, then they 6x'd again, all in 14 months. That's more than 47,000% growth in just over a year. Less than 2 years after they first began looking for investors, they were worth $7.6 billion. That means in 21 months, early investors in Hopin saw the value of the company shoot up by more than 246,000%. We all know there are no guarantees in investing, and you should never risk money that you can't afford to lose. It's only a matter of time before you see these earbuds being featured on the nightly news about how you can email your friend or write a work paper without using a keyboard, a mouse, or a touch screen, or how quadriplegics can reclaim their lives thanks to new world-changing technology. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we thank you again for being a part of our community channel. We appreciate your continued support and look forward to serving you with more exciting videos in the future. We hope it has been helpful in understanding the world of passive income and affiliate marketing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and comment below, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video from Passive Income Journey 777.